Hello. One thing you need to know about the gas laws is that there are various gas law products that you need to find. Depending on what you're looking for will determine how easy the gas laws can be. For instance, if you're doing Boyle's gas law, the formula deals with pressure and volume, where the temperature remains constant. Something else you need to know is that as the pressure increases, the volume will decrease. If the pressure goes down, the volume will go up. That's because pressure and volume are inversely proportional to one another. So the graph that typically is associated with Boyle's gas law is a curve. One of the other formulas that you need to know also for Boyle's gas law is that P1 times V1 equals P2 times V2. You can easily manipulate this formula to solve for either variable. For instance, if I'm trying to find P1, I know that P1 will be equal to P2 times V2 divided by V1. On the other hand, if I'm looking for P2, that's P2 equals P1 times V1 over V2. And if I'm looking for volume, let's say the initial volume reading, V1, P2 times V2 will be divided by P1. And for volume 2, or the final volume reading, is P1 times V1 over P2. And here's something else you want to be aware of too, that if you know that if the pressure increases, let's say the pressure increased where it was doubled, then your volume will actually decrease by 1/2. On the other hand, if your pressure dropped, let's say it decreased by, let's say, 1/4, then your volume will increase by quadrupling the amount. So these are just some simple ways that you can look at Boyle's law when it comes to predicting the answer. So for instance, if I give you P1 equals, let's say, 4 ATMs, and then the second pressure reading goes up to, let's say, 8 ATMs, and you know that your first volume reading, let's say, was 10 milliliters. You can easily say that your volume 2 will be a certain variable based on knowing that your pressure has done certain things. So in this case, I know that my pressure did increase by doubling. So guess what my volume is going to do? My volume is going to drop by 1/2. And if you want to make sure of that answer, let's solve it. Let's look for V2. So in this case, if I'm looking for V2, because I know the formula is P1 times V1, all that over P2, all I need to do now is place the numbers in there. So my P1 is 4 ATMs, my V1 is 10 milliliters, and my P2 is 8 ATMs. I'm going to cancel out my ATM units because I don't need them anymore. And when I multiply 4 times 10, I get 40. And 40 divided by 8 is 5 milliliters. What's half of 10? 5. So this is your answer right here that we predicted it to be. If you want to learn more steps on how to solve gas law problems, continue to follow this channel to learn more. Stay tuned for the next example where we get into Charles' law. Take care.